Well, welcome back, everyone. I hope that you're all well and in good health and that your Wednesday is off to a great start. The focus of this particular video is going to be on the synthesis grid assignment, some of the requirements, and also we're going to cover some of the tools and skills that you'll need in order to successfully complete this assignment. So that is what we will be covering here today. But before we dig into that, I want to take a minute to run us through the homework. Now, this homework is going to be due by Thursday at midnight. It will be marked on the calendar as due by Wednesday, just because I like to keep the dates consistent. But because of the late posting, you're more than welcome to turn it in by Thursday. And then if you do need time beyond that to complete this, I do ask that you email me about an extension. I'm, again, more than happy to be flexible, but I do want to make sure that you're communicating with me if that's the case. So just to kind of take us through this, you'll need to read through the announcements, calendar, and grades document, which I'm going to send out shortly after sending out this video. And I know that there have been several iterations of the calendar that have been sent your way. I'm hoping that this is the final one. I had a chance yesterday to really take a look at what we have going on over the course of the next few weeks. And based on what I'm seeing in your drafts of the rhetorical responses, as well as just the work that is getting turned in, I wanted to make some adjustments to the calendar. So in addition to that, there will be some information on grades for A1 and A2. Make sure you read through all of this, and if you have any questions, email them to me. All right, so that'll be announcements. You'll want to watch this video, which you're watching right now. So as long as you continue watching it, you've got that checked off the list. And then there's a quick 3-minute video which talks about the distinction between peer-reviewed articles and popular sources. Definitely want to watch that one and make sure you're able to understand that distinction. You'll need to respond to discussion post number 7 by midnight on Thursday. It's going to be listed as Wednesday on the calendar, but you can take until Thursday if you need. And really that discussion post is going to be a little bit more about me checking in to make sure that you've taken detailed notes on these videos, because all of this information is going to be very important. And then continue to gather sources which answer your inquiry question and begin to work on filling out your synthesis grids. So that is your homework. And then what I want to do before we jump into talking about the synthesis grid assignment is I want to circle back to inquiry questions. I had an opportunity to read through everyone's questions. I appreciated the memes. They were great. I hope you're finding moments in all of the craziness to laugh and kind of recognize things that are a little bit more lighthearted, because I feel like we do really need that right now. But anyway, I did see some patterns in questions and some concerns that I want to address in this next slide. Now, the first thing that I want to say when we talk about this is that identifying a strong research question that's going to drive your research can be really challenging, and it sometimes takes several different revisions of the question to get to where you want to be. One thing that I really want to make sure that you're paying attention to is the idea of debatability. Are there multiple answers to your question, right? So are there going to be different stakeholders who answer your question differently? So if I had a question like, what does COVID-19 do to the body? And I had a few people ask this question, those answers are pretty set in stone. They're pretty objective, right? And so there aren't going to be multiple perspectives on this. However, a question such as what should college campuses do or have done to better support sick students? This is a question that might have different answers depending on who the stakeholder is, right? And in general, because this is a problem solution editorial that you are moving toward, these should questions are going to serve you really well, right? So any question that's like, what should this stakeholder do to address this problem? That could be a really great question to drive your research. The other thing I want to say is that while I did make COVID-19 a potential research topic, it is very likely that it's going to be a little bit more challenging to find an adequate research question for that particular topic. So if you do decide to research something related to COVID-19, I would highly recommend sending your question to me just to make sure that you're on the right track and that you have something manageable. And this is why a lot of these are COVID-19 examples. So you also want to make sure it's specific, right? I'm still seeing some questions that are really broad, like what impact does COVID-19 have on health, right? That's huge. That's really, really broad, and that would take you in a lot of different directions, as opposed to if you were to articulate something like, what are some of the ways in which college students can maintain their mental health while social distancing? So that is much more specific, and that is also one of those questions that is kind of a should question, right? Like, what should this group do? Which means that it has multiple perspectives. Is your question researchable? So this is a big one that I've seen. I saw some questions that were kind of like, why do people do what they do questions, which, sometimes there just aren't answers for those questions. And if there are answers, they tend to be really, really complicated, about human nature. And that isn't really, we don't really have time to kind of research that kind of question for this particular assignment. So as opposed to a question like, why do you think people aren't paying attention to the ordinances regarding COVID-19? Something that it might be a little bit more manageable and have some more concrete evidence is, what should communities do to respond to those who choose not to practice social distancing? Another kind of question that I often see that is often hard to research is, what will happen if we run out of resources, right? So that's a hypothetical question that tends to be really challenging because we can't really answer those questions. And if we can, they're not debatable. Okay, so I am going to encourage you to go back and really take a hard look at your question and make sure it's meeting this criteria. And it might seem like a simple thing, like this is just a question, why is this so important? But it really ultimately does influence the kind of research you do and then what you're able to write about. So a successful question usually means that your research is going to be better and your editorial is going to be better. All right, so this is the assignment prompt for the synthesis grid. And the synthesis grid is really meant to help you make sure that you are, number one, really taking the time to closely read your sources, but also that you are researching multiple perspectives on this issue. So your audience is going to be yourself, because it really is a tool to help you, as well as me as your instructor. It is an academic genre. And then some of the requirements of the genre. So this is what you really want to make sure you're paying attention to. This assignment is not difficult as long as you are paying attention to all of the things that you need to do. And if you're doing what you need to do, then it won't be hard to do well on this assignment. But in order to do that, you need to make sure you're aware of these requirements. So first of all, you want to make sure that you're using the provided template. And I'm going to revise this. You'll see in the announcements that I've decided to forego the annotation assignment. And instead, you will document 5 total sources. So before it was 4, now it's 5. And these sources will be from your own research or from the article bank provided on Canvas. At least one of these sources should be a scholarly source and longer than 5 pages, which is why it is going to become really important for you to make sure that you know the difference between scholarly and popular sources. And then you want to make sure that your 5 sources should represent a total of 3 stakeholders. And by represent, I only mean that that stakeholder is mentioned at some point in the article. This shouldn't be very hard to make happen as long as you are researching multiple perspectives, right? So it doesn't mean the stakeholder has written it. It doesn't mean that, you know, that they have to be speaking in the article, only that they're spoken about. And we talked in the last video about stakeholders in depth, so you should have a clear sense of what that means. And then in order to really prepare, I want you to think about finding articles that address these 4 sub-questions, which ultimately should all tie into your question, right? So what is the problem? You know, maybe there's an article that just tells you what that problem is, right? But also, why is this problem urgent and one that needs to be solved? How can this problem be solved and who can solve it? And then what objections might other people involved in the problem have to whatever solution it is you're considering? And I do think that by trying to find sources that answer all of these questions and not just focusing in on one, you're likely going to not have a hard time representing at least 3 stakeholders in your sources. In addition to the grid itself, you'll need to include properly formatted works cited page, which we'll be talking about later this week and next week. Works cited page which reflects the 5 sources you record on your grid. And I will make sure to revise this before I repost it, so that you can see that it is 5 sources that you are looking for now instead of 4. All right, so that brings us to the actual grid that you will be filling out, and you can just type right into here. It isn't something that needs to be formatted in any other way than how it's currently formatted. And I have made some revisions based on the changes I've made to the calendar, which will be posted when this video is posted. So some of the questions are a little bit different. So you'll want to make sure you include the source article's title here, the author's thesis, which needs to be paraphrased, and then 3 main points. And it's really important that these are complete sentences. And for the most part, it's important that everything you're answering here is in complete sentences, right? So again, this is a situation of you knowing what you mean, and maybe assuming that your audience does, but it helps me to understand your exact ideas if you're writing in complete sentences. The only thing that you could potentially maybe not, maybe just put as words would be the stakeholders represented, right? So which stakeholders are represented in that article? And it doesn't have to be one, it isn't one per article, there's generally going to be several. And then what ideas in this source are similar to other sources, and how do the perspectives differ? You don't necessarily need to talk about every single similarity or how every single source differs from every other source. It's really just making 1 or 2 comparisons and then thinking about how that source has a different perspective than another source that you've collected. And this should be probably, like 4 to 10 sentences. And I think the more specific you are, the better prepared you're going to be to write your editorial. The last piece over here, since we are taking the annotation out, is a few sentences telling me how you know this source is credible. We are going to talk about credibility on Thursday, so I would hold off on doing anything with this until that time. But yeah, this is generally what you'll be doing with sources. I want to remind you that the only sources you can use right now are the sources in the research bank, the sources in the list from the list on Canvas, which will be under this module, and the sources in the database. And the next lesson, I'm going to talk about how you can tell if a source is a scholarly source. So if you're still unsure, you might just want to hold off until that lesson to kind of think about which scholarly source you want to use. You're more than welcome to use more than one, but you want to definitely make sure you have at least one in your repertoire. Okay, so any questions, email me. Otherwise, this is the synthesis grid assignment, and you are good to go to get started once you take a look at your inquiry question and make sure it's meeting those criteria. Have a good day.